Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Climate strike, thousands protest across the United Kingdom, and this has been global as well. There's a updated site as well from the BBC, which is being updated throughout the day. It's a huge climate protest started across the US, but they're going through the entire globe. It's a global thing. So of course, it's all about the young climate protesters, and they're just getting a day off school. I mean, what wouldn't they get a day off school for? What about burning asbestos and tyres in the town centre? Woo! And how did you get here? Oh, were you driven? I see. And how did you get to school? Driving again? Oh, I see. You don't walk. Oh, because the streets aren't safe. Because, well, you're importing people who want a better life and are trying to develop their countries and also their own lives, which requires burning of fossil fuels? I see. And you care about air pollution, is it? You care about CO2, which China was the main contributor of? Or do you care about methane, which has a greenhouse effect of 35 times more? No? Okay. In which case, what are you going to say? Well, in that case, we should all go vegan and get rid of the animals, except that then you overfarm the land, the topsoil is lost of all its nutrients, in which case you need animals back there to get the fertility back in the soil. Oh, I see. And also those animals are eating the parts of the crop that people don't eat, which then prevents waste. So then that doesn't quite work. Oh, okay then. But the human population is going to peak at 9 billion and then fall down quite quickly after that, as more developed countries tend to have fewer children. The Victorians are, of course, a great example of that. And if you look at the UK now being below replacement rate, that is to be understood. Okay, the UK isn't, but the British are. There you go, how's that? And seeing as these people don't really care, they just virtue signal a lot. I mean, Greta Thunberg is an example of that, where she took a yacht over to the US, except then 6 of the crew then had to take flights back from New York to Hamburg. It's like, well, hang on a minute. That's not nearly as good if it was just yourself and your dad who flew over to New York. And that took 2 weeks instead of half a day. But okay, it's almost as if this whole capitalism lark that economies on scale have made it much more available, easier and cheaper for people, and quicker as well, to use aircraft instead of a yacht. Funny that. But what are you actually going to do about it? Or do you care about pollutants? You care about the physical instead? You're going to discount all the plastic-eating plankton, and you're going to say, well, yes, but there are other pollutants as well, and we should stop that. It's like, okay, well, 88 to 95% come from the top 10 rivers, 8 of which are in China and 2 in Africa. Or, sorry, 8 are in Asia, including China. Because you've got the Yangtze, I think, in China, and the Ganges in India. I believe they're the main two. They're the primary contributors. But yeah, if you're just talking CO2, then China is the top contributor by about 9 milliard. That's 9,000 million. I don't use billion because I'm English. 9 million per year. United States is in second with about 5 milliard. There we go. The UK is down at about 400. I think it's 389.5 million metric tons per year. But hey, protest the UK because we listen. We don't make you fertilizer for next year like China does. And you really think China's going to listen? You've got people like Corbyn saying, oh, well, Trump was awful for pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, which keeps giving concessions to China, who keeps saying, yes, we're going to curtail our output, exactly as we intended to do without this. That's what we're going to agree to. We actually don't care about you, but hey, we're going to try and seem diplomatic because we want to be able to manipulate our currency and export cheap goods out to you, while we take advantage of our own people, harvest their organs, any Falun Gong practitioners, the Uyghur Muslims. Oh yeah, you want to talk about attacking Muslims on a national scale? Well, then go to China. Oh, but you don't care, do you? No, you just think Orange Man bad. Cheeto Hitler and all that. But let's read on. Thousands of people around the UK have joined a global climate change protest, with pupils walking out of schools and workers downing tools to demand action. Yes, pupils walking out of schools. It's okay, because all they get there is leftist indoctrination anyway. And that's probably why they left, because that's all they're told. They're just mouthpieces for the adults, who can't speak for themselves. Millions around the world are taking part in the climate strike day, with rallies in British cities including Glasgow, Manchester and London. I'm so sorry. Anna Taylor, a co-founder of United Kingdom Student Climate Network, said it was very easy to persuade people to show up. Yeah, funny that. Hey, do you want a day off school? Because it's for, yes. I didn't tell you what it was for. Yes. Hang on, but it's, yes. Never mind. Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said every child should be in school. Yes, if they're actually being taught anything worthwhile, but I don't think being in school is actually that worthwhile, considering you're going to be taught about gay relations before you get taught about about geography when you're 6, and then you're going to get drugged on Ritalin because you're being too childish and boy-like because you're being locked in solitary confinement for too long. What is the difference between a school and a prison? It's not a joke. Somebody tell me, please. And then you're just drugged up as well. Okay, so it's an insane asylum run by the inmates, apparently. He added, they should be learning. They shouldn't be bunking off, and it's very irresponsible for people to encourage children to do so. Yeah, but if the education system's pretty shit anyway, if you're saying that you need a minimum wage of, what is it, $5.53 an hour, you're saying that government schooling for 16 years means your time is worth less than £5.53 an hour. How bad is your education system? Jesus Christ. And then you need to get into tens of thousands of pounds of debt for a university course, of which then you're not even going to be earning enough in order to pay back because the education is so shit. It's like, are you really sure it's worth going? I mean, surely homeschooling seems to be a better plan. And the amount that's available online on YouTube, maybe the Open University, isn't that better? I mean, I'm all drawn to the Open University. I intend to finish the course there. So why not do that? And I know Dr. John B. Peterson is intending to build his own university, so go through it that way. Christ. Student Jessica Ahmed, 16, emailed her school to warn that she would be joining the protest instead of being in class, to which they replied, okay. Speaking at a protest in Westminster, she said, school is important, but so is my future. Maybe learn. If politicians were taking the appropriate action we need, and had been taking this action a long time ago when it was recognised the world was changing in a negative way, then I would not have to be skipping school. You don't have to be skipping school. Why don't you go into engineering in order to fix this? We already know the guy, because Joe Rogan mentioned him on his podcast, who is building machines to work in the ocean to consume plastic. The same for the plankton already there. Well, why don't you do that? I mean, science might have caused the problem with the Industrial Revolution, but science is also the solution. Science is the future. I mean, science, or Naturwissenschaften, to use the German there, the study of nature, is also then how to implement technology in order to make the future a better place. So use that in order to create your solutions instead of complaining about it. It's the same thing as fucking feminists who complain, oh, well, there aren't enough women in STEM. It's like, well, why didn't you go into STEM? Oh, I don't like it. It's not for women. Hang on, what? They're not normally that obtuse about it, but nonetheless, that's what they mean. Organisers estimated that around 100,000 people attended a rally in central London, while more than 20,000 were thought of marched in Edinburgh, and 10,000 in Brighton. In Belfast, organisers put the turnout at between 3,000 and 4,000, with young people taking over the corn market area of the city and staging a mass die-in. Okay, let's not make the mass shooting jokes here. So Labour leader Cormac Corbyn told young people at the Westminster rally, "You and a whole generation have brought climate change centre stage, and I am absolutely delighted about that." Yes, but is it actually climate change, or is it just a front for communism? Because that's what it seems to be, and the Green New Deal is of course an example for that, and that's been leaked now from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's staff to say that, yeah, it's actually just a front for socialism, like a guaranteed wage for people unwilling to work. Well, there you go then, isn't that the proof you need? It's just a front for socialism. Even the people like Tim Pool who are saying, yes, we should do something about the climate, and he's then saying, well, hang on, what? I'm not on board with this. It's exactly the same thing. But Cormac Corbyn said, if we're going to sustain this planet, we need to get to net zero emissions a lot quicker than 2050, the government's target, he said. Yeah, tell China. Oh, you're going to? Because you like their Communist Party. Oh. Okay. It wants every country to sign up to the Paris Agreement, which gives concessions to China, which commits signatory nations to keeping global temperatures well below 2.0 degrees C, above pre-industrial times. Pre-industrial times. So you're talking a couple of hundred years before, yeah, where we had the mini ice age, and that's why people think Christmas is to do with snow because of Charles Dickens. Is that it? When you could skate on the Thames? Is that what you're talking about? Right, you're not talking about the Romans when it was warmer, and that's why you got Hadrian's Wall, because that was as far north as you could grow grapes. In the UK, yeah. Good luck with doing that now. You're not talking about that, are you? And you're not talking about hundreds of thousands of years ago, if not many millions of years ago, where the climate change has been ridiculous. I mean, you can look at the Milankovitch cycles, which is just how the Earth gets closer to the sun and then it's warmer, because that's the main heat source. Funny that. You're not talking about that at all, are you? You're talking about a very particular time. You're just cherry picking that to suit your own agenda. And you might say, hey, hang on, Wasp. Why don't you look at what Al Gore did, where he showed the correlation between CO2 and global temperature? So, yes, I have seen that. And have you seen that half the time the temperature rise comes before the CO2 rise? Yeah, okay. What about the cold is responsible for killing more people than the warm? What about how indigenous people got out to America or Australia, if you're talking about the land bridge, for example? That was when it was warmer, and that's when we did better. It's always been a lot more difficult to get through the cold than it has been the heat. So, what's your point? More people die from cold than they do from heat. Yeah, but okay. Moving on, let's ignore these inconvenient truths. How's that, Al Gore? Yeah? Did you say all the ice would be melted by now? How'd that work out for you? Oh, it didn't. Oh, so you're making a sequel, even though all your credibility has been lost, but people still listen to you. Oh, I see. So it isn't actually to do with truth, it's just to do with getting yourself paid. Right, okay. I understand. Anyway, let's move on, because who fucking cares? We've got children saying things that they don't understand. I won't insult the child, because that's not fair. But Sebastian says, they, the government, don't understand what we're going to go through. Hang on, what? They, the government, don't understand what we're going to go through it, and they are not. Understand that we're going to go through it, and they are not. There we go, need another comma. So they, the government, don't understand that we're going to go through it, comma, and they are not. Yep. Okay, I can't comment on that, because you're underage. 8-year-old Sohan and Nayan. Oh, well done, BBC. Almost everyone you show is white, but you've managed to found these ethnic minorities. But they're not a minority in London, are they? No. That'll be the white people. 8-year-old Sohan and Nayan, 5, also from southeast London, joined protesters with their mother, Celine. Sohan said, the 8-year-old, we want to save our planet and we hope that marching will help. Yeah, if you're not driving. Well, you're too young to drive, but okay. Yeah, the people are grieving for their future and other bullshit. These Scottish people are saying we could save the planet if children ran it. That's a nice ring to it, but it's also bullshit, evidently. I mean, why do we say, okay, when you're born, you're going to become a politician, then you're going to go to school. There we go. Anyway, it goes on to mention Greta Thunberg as well, and well, the Germans are saying fuck off Greta, understandably, because she's full of shit as well. She doesn't understand what she's talking about, as is to be expected. We have a whole load of that when the youths supposedly speak out. So yeah, okay, well, if you're going to use your youths, why don't we use our youths? How about that? Or how about we just debate on the merit of ideas and not the people saying them? Wouldn't that be better? Yeah, meritocracy. Yeah, it would. Okay, cut the crap. Let's be civilized adults about it. If you're saying, but 97% of scientists say that humans are responsible for climate change. So the anthropogenic global warming, AGW question, AGWQ, that whole 97% idea came from a review of abstracts of studies and whether or not they mentioned humans being responsible for it. So 2/3 didn't state about humans at all. About 1/3 said humans are responsible, and a couple of percent said humans are not responsible. And from that, they got 97%. So it's actually 1/3 say that humans are responsible, and about 2/3 don't comment on it. So they just discount that completely. So it's all a load of shit, but we know that. And if you're really behind climate change, then why don't you push for nuclear power? How about that? But you're not gonna. And you can also see, because people say, oh, well, It's the fossil fuels and oil like Shell and Exxon, and you know, that they're the ones pushing for climate change to be a hoax. So well, then why are they investing in renewable energies as well? Exactly. You want to talk about climate change, and it's so fucking frustrating that people say, oh, it's all to do with the air pollutants. Well, what about the physical pollutants? What about what you're going to do with the batteries, or the solar panels, or the wind turbines, for example? And what about, if you care about the birds there? But anyway, that's it for me, because otherwise this video is going to be far too long. Let me know what you guys think below, if there's anything I missed, any bullshit you think I should mention. If you want me to make a particular climate change video, let me know. If you want me to make like a Sunday special video on a particular topic that you want my take on, do let me know. I will try and edit something together for once. Looking forward to that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.